This is Fam Electric Ghost, and we were going to be live doing an interview, but we weren't able to get that going today. We'll probably reschedule that for some other time. So today we're going to talk about our recording process, and you see behind me is our hardware studio. And in this studio, we've got a grandmother, we've got a Moog Mother 32, a Moog DFAM, which is a drummer from another mother, and they're all in this Euro rack that's right next to the grandmother. If you can see the grandmother there. And what we've been doing lately is using this really cool, if I don't hit my mic, if everybody knows what this is the Teenage Engineering OPZ. And what we've been doing is doing something we did back in 2018, is we went and did a whole record called The Flower That Blooms at Midnight in the Tomb using this device. And this is a little 16-track sequencer. It's got a sampler. It's kind of based on what the OP1 was from Teenage Engineering, but it's the size of a TV remote. So put it next to the, you see compared to the mic. But it's got these like endless encoders, and it's got, 16 tracks, and you can actually do chain patterns. You can put full songs. You can mute and unmute. And so what we've been doing is we've got the Zoom L-8 podcast mixer, or just it's an L-8 LiveTrak, and we've been kind of paring down compared to what we have back here. Over there, we got an R24 from Zoom, and we've been using that to do full DAW-less recording. But Zoom's L8 or LiveTrak series has a unique sound and headroom, and then the cool thing about it also is that if you input something into any of the inputs, and it's got like, XLR, it's got 1/4 inch, it's got 1/8 of an inch for like smartphones, and the OPZ works in that type of method. So what we've been doing is putting down tracks into the LiveTrak with the OPZ, and then using a Soyuz Launcher to add some quality to my voice. And we've been using that, and that's been working out pretty well. And we've got a bunch of videos from our forthcoming album that's coming soon. There's a new Fam Electric Ghost album that's in the works for my Busan Queens called Ara and Miyazawa. And most of the songs are totally done on this OPZ. Now, some of them we actually go and we add the grandmother, or we add some Roland guitar, or we've got a couple of songs that are from other projects that we thought fit, and we brought them in. But I would say 80% of the whole album is on this. So we're going to get into some videos that we've got queued up. So we've got a playlist queued up of just to give you an example what it sounds like and what we do visually. When we create these videos for the Ghost, we go on our iPhone and we use multiple apps. And just to let people know, we probably couldn't figure it out, we use like Video Leap and EFKT. We use some other ones in the Video Leap collection. And so we put together these video, MPEG-4s and put them up on YouTube and Instagram. And they represent the visual concept for the songs. And sometimes they're just very psychedelic and don't really follow the lyrics, which is what I kind of like to create videos like that, because I don't want to kind of drive people's attention or kind of control how you perceive the song. So if I do a video that's just visually weird, it really doesn't drive your feelings about the lyrics. So we're going to get into it now. We're going to play the first song in this collection, which is an OPZ LiveTrak situation or experience called Et Amor In. So Amore In. Et Amore In. Coming up now. See you when sound
down. No, she been uptown. No, she been around. I see you in sounds down, downtown, in and out sound. Talking spin around, talking triangle down, talking triangles down. No, that angle sound. No, she more down. Sex underwater now. Sex underwater now. Knows she's gonna be more than proud. But I see you in the sound. Girl, slow it down. Spinning around. Tongues and triangles down. See you in the sound. In and out now. She been uptown. She been around. I see you out sounds more than down. Tongues and triangles sound. Been uptown. Know that she's into it. Into it, in and out. Into the F now. In it so proud. In the F now. More than anyone. In the F now. No, I know. The tongue spinning around. In and out, down. In and out, down. She been uptown. The tongues and triangles right now. Spinning now. Been the bottle found. Then she's out. Been the bottle. Then she's uptown. Been the bottle around. Then get all the way down. Then know that she's so proud. She opened down on it now. See you when sounds all the way down. Tongue and triangles, Lord, she's been uptown. Up, it's down. It's spinning and tongues and triangles and angles now. Spinning around, they to that sound of the swim down. No, she's into it now. No, she's been uptown, been in and down. There's the trends and the triangles, and then we know now. See you and sounds more than unbound. Know that she's into it now. Up and down sound, in and out clown. Oh, town, no, she's going round. See you and sounds more than up and down. Tongues and triangles, she's been. See you and sound more than getting down. In and out sounds for you in and out clown. See you in sound more than in and down. You know she uptown. In and out sounds, all you clowns, baby, sit down. She see that sounds, one that you're on. See that sounds, tongue and triangles right now. She's more proud. Take it all the way down. Tongues and triangles right now. And see that sounds more than down.
So that was at a more n or a at a more n. Well, get my Latin right. But so we're gonna get back into it again. What we're talking about here is the use of the Teenage Engineering OPZ and a new workflow we have because we're a hardware DAWless producer, and so for many years we've been using the machines you see back there. We're using all these hardware sense, a bunch of Moogs, the grandmother Mother 32 in a Arteria 6U rack with an Arteria Maybre 2S and a mass module and a morphogene for make noise and a bunch of cool I/O, all kinds of external extra capability to basically mults. I got tons of mults on my Euro rack, so I can take a bunch of things and have. And I have a Pittsburgh modular 2x4 mixer, which takes in VCA signals and lets me change the volume. In addition, in this workflow, we also have a Roland MX1 performance mixer, which allows us to mix all the signal levels and put effects on things before we even hit the Zoom R24. And then once we're in the Zoom R24, we can model microphones, and we can actually have like a C414 and a U57, SM57, all kinds of cool stuff. Right now, what we've been using is the Soyuz Launcher with a Zoom mic, and we've been putting that into an L-8 and recording with that with the OPZ. And the OPZ again is just a really interesting little micro synth, and so you can just like take it on the fly. And what we learned recently is you can actually connect it to your computer and take the projects with all the songs, which you can have a bunch of projects with a bunch of things actually saved with basically the tracks. You can have what they call the ability to take in I always forget that what it's called. Like basically, you can take a bunch of tracks and then put them into an order, and I always forget the name of that. I might be reminded. But basically, you can save the projects onto your PC, and then wipe the LPZ, and start it again. So we filled it up with like 10 projects, and then we dumped them into a folder on our PC, and then started again. And then if we ever want to bring things back, you can just hook up the USB to the computer and bring it back to project, which we haven't tried bringing it back to project, but we do have them backed up. But we like this workflow because it's the L20 or the L8. It has a really good sound, and one of the cool things is that when you have something, when you have a line coming in, like you can have a USB line, so you can actually take a song from your SoundCloud and then record it. 48 megahertz. And then that's pretty cool. You can actually record up to 96, but you can't record the USB at 96, which is kind of messed up. But you could always bring it in through the line in on a 1/4 inch and have some adapter bring in that whatever that sound is. But what's cool again is the fact that every line input, all the 8 channels, just automatically go to a stem. They automatically go to a WAV file. And so that allows you, when you go to mix, you can change the levels of your mix, and then you can actually master on the L8. So you can go back and you can do masters, and you can do multiple mixes into the headphone out. So you can actually apply different techniques. And what I also like to do is actually, when I go to do the master mix, I go and I play with the effects engine. And so if I want a delay effect on the last couple of syllables or words in a line, I just go and hit the delay button. And then if I want it to be on chorus for most of the song, keep it on chorus. And then some places I'll go and do, different effects there on the machine. And it has multiple effects, and I kind of just put them in as I kind of stream of consciousness, or just knowing what I want. And so, like, I add the delay where I need it, add the chorus where I need it, a room sound, or, an echo, more of an echo or less of an echo. And, it's kind of interesting. But I would say that the R24 does have more, like, it has the microphone profiles. This thing doesn't have that. It has more effects on the R24, more capability, because you can do like a lot of different types of standard kind of DAW effects, like applying things and applying like sound mastering techniques and different mic platforms. There's just way more of that going on the R24, which is kind of sad because the headroom on this machine on the L8 is so good that it's like, well, maybe the R24 should be updated with some of this tech, or one of these L20s should actually have the ability. Well, I know like the L22s and L20s can record more stuff, but they still don't have what the R24 has, or even what the R16 had. So it's like, this is the new preferred method, and I am using this to actually record an album. Like I said, our Miyazawa album is being used. We're using this instead of the R24. Even though we can't do some of the stuff that we do on the R24, it sounds so good that it's okay, we'll live without it. But, you know, going into the future, it's like Zoom, I would suggest, this is a suggestion. Put a touch screen on this thing, like a Behringer Wing or like a Phantom keyboard, right? Then give it the capabilities of an R24. Everything the R24 can do, including the sampling in the drum machine, put that on this thing, right? And then give it the ability to record the USB at a higher megahertz, right? And so those things with the more effects and a touch screen, bigger screen, because these kind of tiny screens, it's cool. And I am a hardware guy, but it would be cool to just a suggestion. And one thing for Zoom, if you guys are listening, we record our podcast with the L8. We recorded this new record with the L8, and we're getting ready to do another festival. And back in July, we did the PEG Festival, where we called it the PEG Bedroom Producer Festival, which you can see this T-shirt was from that festival. And what we did is we actually had a bunch of bands or artists that we interviewed since 2018, like 22 artists, actually did live sets through StreamYard. And we put it through this platform live to Facebook, Twitch, and our YouTube channels. And so what we're doing again is we're going to do another PEG Bedroom Producer Festival with guests from the podcast. So that's the theme. Anybody who's been interviewed on the podcast gets to be in the festival and gets to do a live set from their bedroom producer or their however they want to do it. So if they're a bedroom producer but they want to do it from a full stage, fine. If they want to do it in their garage, they want to do it in their bedroom, it's really cool. So you can it's pretty interesting. Like Posy Mist, they had a really awesome bedroom theme. If you go look at our Bedroom Producer Festival YouTube list of the days, we did a YouTube playlist for day 1, 2, and 3, and Posy Mist is on either day 2 or day 3, so check either one out. And what you can see is she had a really cool theme in her bedroom. She did a really cool show. And excuse me, but and so yes, I've been doing it live. But yeah. So what we're saying, Zoom, is it would be cool if you gave everybody an L8 or P4, so that when they go to do the show, they all have the right interface to be able to do their sound. Because this is a great interface for doing a live show, because you can put the 1/4 inches in, get the stereo mix coming in, and you have a really good sound. Along with using OBS virtual webcam, you can do a really good live show. We did it in July. We're going to do it again February 11th through the 13th. We're going to run them all days. The Friday, we do it on the 11th. It'll probably start at 6 o'clock, go to 11 p.m. And then the Saturday, the 12th and the 13th of February, we're going to run from 7 in the morning to 11 at night. Because we have a lot of bands that we talk to from Australia, Iceland, London, UK, Germany. So running in the morning allows those bands to actually be in their nighttime. And then running at night allows the US and West Coast bands, the whole US, to be able to fit within that schedule. So we pretty much run all day. So we're going to get back into the OPZ songs. And so we're going to get into it with the next song off the playlist. So we're going to bring it back up. And we're going to get into the next song that we got going. So we're going to cue that up. Called Scary You Pumped Up V Girls. Well, that was what we wanted to do. And I guess that's not the right song. Let's try it again. There's always problems with that. Let's get off of that and get back. So we're going to get out of the YouTube playlist and get back into it after we figure out why we don't have the right song. So, again, what's really cool about the OPZ is it, even though it's a really small machine, what I love about it is the fact that it's kind of like a Moog, and there's something on it that I've never seen before, and maybe somebody can tell me if you've seen this, but it has the ability to do this thing called subcomponents. So when you do a subcomponent, what's interesting about the subcomponent is that it has the ability to just add different effects to every step of the flow. So when you're on the OPZ, you have like you have 16 steps when you're doing tracks. And then you have the ability to do these step components are effects. Like you can do like a triplet, you can do a portamento, you can do a decrescendo, you can do like LFO kind of weird things. And there's all these different effects that are talked about. You can even have things like beats or sounds apply on different steps. So you can go and say, well, make this thing happen on the 4th step, and then on the 6th step, and then on the 8th step. And so you can go and do that. And you can do random. So there's a random capability to have a crescendo, decrescendo, or portamento, or do LFO weirdness, all kinds of strange steps. And you can have multiple these subcomponents on each step of your sequence. And so if you kind of riff it and combined with the muting and unmuting, and the other thing I was talking about before is chain patterns. So you can do chain patterns and you put them into a program and basically take each type of channel that you set up with 16 steps and move them around to make a song. So you have the chain patterns, you have the muting and unmuting, and then you have the step components. So you can very much freestyle this like a grandmother or like any Moog, because once you learn what all these little buttons do, it's kind of a knob per function capability. There's some buried things in here, but you can actually do some very interesting stream of consciousness randomized playing. And a lot of times there's even a manual override button. So once you put a pattern in, you can kind of riff the pattern with this manual override by hitting step component buttons and then applying that manually by hitting the key of that step component and then applying it in real time as you play. So there's a lot of cool artistic stuff you can do with this little machine. And we bought this thing like 3-4 years ago, and we're still rediscovering it and using it for this new project. So what we're getting into now is the next song off the playlist, because we kind of messed up the playlist and we had a longer, we actually had a podcast episode in the playlist, which is, that was not what we wanted to do. So we're getting back into it, and let's see where we are. We're going to get into this like song called My Love for Miyazawa, and what's the next song we're going to play?
My love, Miyazawa, how could I forget your birthday? My love, Miyazawa, how could I let the rabbits get in the way? My love, Miyazawa, my love for your birthday every day. Never ever forget about you. Could say that I'm without breath, and if I have to like that, you ought to just your birthday. This way, you're gonna be with me forever and day. Love me so, I'm watching it every kind of way. And forever separate, let you know I'll be your slave. One forever,
So that was My Love Miyazawa, and part of the Ara and Miyazawa album that we've been working on. And again, this album was constructed primarily with the OPZ. And I just wanted to prove that you could just take a tiny little synth like this that some people think it was just a toy. And the OP1 and OPZ, they're not toys. You can use these, and you can actually drive an aesthetic. Our aesthetic is to be like a DAW-less producer. Well, not like we are. And our new weapon of choice is the L8 from Zoom, and we primarily use the L8 to put this thing together. So with the next song we're going to talk about, we're going to bring up the next track, and we're going to get into Busan Swing.
Five fingers in your sexed out fisting, dominatrix sing, sexed everything. Five fingers into a sexed out fisting thing, dominatrix sing, sex is everything, thing. she don't scream, maybe she's not your heart for queen. If she don't scream, maybe you're not the one on the scene. If she don't scream, maybe you're not her everything. Sex no fisted, dominatrixing. Sex is everything. 5 fingers into a fast house thing. You know that everything. Just stick it there. Look at my fingers and look at my diamond ring. 5 fingers into a sex no fisted thing. Stick it, sex is everything. 5 fingers into a sex no fisted thing. Dominatrixing. Sex is everything. Swing. Swing, 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 swing. Sing. Swing. Sing. 5 fingers into a sex no fisted thing. Such a sticky thing. Dominatrixing. 5 fingers into a sticky thing. Sex is everything. If she don't scream, then maybe she's not your heart for queen. If she don't scream, maybe she's not your everything. And maybe she don't get it, that sticky thing. Maybe she's not. 5 fingers into a sex no fisted thing. 5 fingers into a sex no fisted thing. Dominatrixing. Sex up is everything. She don't scream. She don't cream. Maybe she's not your heart for queen. Just stick it there. Sweet. Sing. 5 fingers into a sex no fisted thing. Dominatrixing. Sex up is everything. 5 fingers into a sex no fisted thing. Sticky thing. Come put it in. Five fingers into my boots on queen. She my everything. She know what I mean. 5 fingers into my boots on queen. She's come with everything. Fucking Dominatrixing. Sex is everything. Swing, 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 swing. Sticky thing. Sticky thing. Everything. If she do cream, baby, she be me. If she